بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. A very hearty and warm welcome once again to all of you amazing ladies who've taken the time out to learn, develop, and enlighten yourselves during this difficult period. Our webinar series, WPower 2.0, is the second in a series of beneficial and practical online lectures by eminent specialists who are going to help you in how to better tackle and emerge from this pandemic. Today is our second webinar hosted by Aspire College of Excellence. Aspire College of Excellence was started in 2016 with the aim of educating and empowering our youth and is enabling them to lead the Ummah. Our founder and director, Sheikh Abdul Salam Al-Madani, firmly believes that progress is possible only if men and women are equally well educated. Our event partners for today are Justice Bashir Ahmad Said College Religious Instruction Forum and Self-Help for Youth and RDB College of Education. So some of the programs that our college has are our online courses, certificate and diploma, free courses in Islamic science, Arabic, Hadith, Aqeedah, etc. We have 6-month certification course, 1-year diploma, 2-year advanced diploma. We also have regular degree courses, BA in Islamic Studies in Tamil, MA in Islamic Studies in Tamil and English. We also have regular courses at Chennai, which is BA in Islamic Studies and +2 course, which we are starting this year. These are some of our student testimonials. As you can see, Alhamdulillah, all our students are very, very happy. There is some of the testimonials which say that personally, I really appreciate how my Arabic teachers have always been supportive and helped me improve my grasp of the language. It is truly a gift to be studying under such eminent scholars. The best part is studying the language that Allah has spoken to us and memorizing his speech. Alhamdulillah. There is another student who says, the word aspire itself was an inspiration for me to join this college. The syllabus here is uniquely designed Arabic, Tajweed, and other subjects in A+++ level, Alhamdulillah. So we have admissions, we have started admissions, online admissions. So it is a very easy process. This is a montage of we have clippings for you from our class pictures. This is an Arabic class in progress. This is our class going on an excursion and another picture of our class in progress. Today's speaker is a wonderful lady and an inspiration to many of us. I consider her a dear friend and have known her for many years now, as our children are classmates, Alhamdulillah. She is one of those rare ladies from our community who have managed to perfectly balance a grueling medical career and a beautiful and successful family life. May Allah give her steadfastness and the strength to continue. She is also currently working at the critical care unit in Apollo Specialty Chennai, addressing the concerns and the pandemic from a medical practitioner's point of view. So I welcome Dr. Al-Muthawa Riaz. Over to you, Dr. Muthawa.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Wafa. Assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters, wonderful sisters here. Jazakallah khair for your time. Sorry. Jazakallah khair, Sister Wafa, for your intro. That was a lot about me. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum, my dear wonderful sisters. Jazakallah khair to everyone here who have taken efforts to join us in this unprecedented times. So, and Jazakallah khair for Sister Reshmi, Sister Wafa, and Sister Ashika for this great opportunity. It gives really an immense pleasure to be one among you and sharing my insight as a frontline healthcare worker. So when Sister Ashika called me and said, like, I have to do a webinar regarding a pandemic going around, I thought, oh my God, that is going to be a toughest job for me. That's very tasking, because the encompassing impact of social media would have made everyone reach the epitome of knowledge orbiting in and out about corona. Am I right? I see my husband daily getting up with a chronometer, checking the score as the same spirit as he checks for a cricket match. And my dad tags all the micro informations possible from all the newspapers and tags me in WhatsApp. And this knowledge enlightens me more than what I get in my clinical experience. So my topic today is a paranoid pandemic which is going around. So the corona, the word corona itself means a cigar, a ring of fire, a crown, a tiara. So this tiara is not something new for us. This crown has been there from ages and ages and ages. Our ancestors have undergone the same pandemics and epidemics what we are going through. Maybe they didn't have a luxury of social media, a bliss or a misery. They were not very apprehensive about it. So all these were different flus in different ages. There were Asian flu, swine flu, Hong Kong flu, and so many other flus in 1918, 1957, 1968, 1977, and 2009. So the first was the Bubonic Plague in European countries, which was around 1347 to 1351. There were about 75 to 200 million deaths reported. That was quite a large number. So then was a Spanish flu. See, it was in 1918, and it also had lots of deaths, about 50 million deaths. You can see the PPs there, ladies draped in white dresses. That's me. There's not much of difference, right? Maybe we are having a social distancing and they are not. Then in 1957, we again had an Asian flu, which was a huge pandemic, and there were lots of deaths. And in 1968 was a Hong Kong flu, another a dreadful pandemic. And I believe this caused lots of deaths under the age of 25. Alhamdulillah, that is not the scenario now. So 1977, we had a Russian flu, and recently 2009, we had a swine flu. And that also had quite a high mortality rate. So someone is running OU. It's nothing, it's none other than our hero coronavirus. So where it had come from, I think everyone are aware of it. So you originated from Wuhan, China. The first case reported was in December 31st, 2019, where they identified a cluster of people having a pneumonia of unknown origin. They didn't find any pathogen where the corona is from, where the disease is from. So then the first reported case in India was January 2020, January 20th, 2020. So it came first to China, then to Italy, then Middle East, then India. So finally we are here. So again, the mode of transmission. So the mode of transmission occurs in various ways, but predominantly the mode of transmission is because of a droplet. What is a droplet again? Droplet is a respiratory secretion which is about 5 micrometer in diameter with an ingested microorganism in it. So when this droplet is in contact with a person within a meter, if you are in a contact with someone who is within a meter, and your mucosal and the conjunctival region is exposed to the droplet, you easily infest the disease. So this is something, a direct contact. And there is something indirect contact. What is indirect contact? Suppose the same droplet goes into a formate. What is a formate again? Formate is a material from which the microorganism is getting transferred. So again, formate, I'll give you a nice example. See, these days, everyone has a substitute of a wife, substitute of a husband, substitute of a friend, substitute of a brother, sister, blah, blah, blah. It has substitute of everyone. What is that? Please, yes, the mobile. So if you have a droplet in the mobile and you take in, which you use it regularly and you use it, you easily get infected. That is something indirect transmission. So you have to sanitize, you have to, clean the surfaces regularly, which you are in contact often, like doorknobs, the fridge knobs, the remote control, the mobiles. And the second mode of transmission would be aerosolized. What is aerosol again? Aerosol is also a droplet less than 5 micrometer in diameter. So first, the WHO, the World Health Organization, said no need of wearing a mask because it is not an airborne disease. But now it states that yes, it is an airborne disease because the aerosolized particles, that is less than 5 micrometer diameter particles, stays in the air for 3 hours. So you go in contact, you easily inhale air and you are infected. So you have to wear a mask. Wearing a mask on going outside has become mandatory these days. Okay. Then comes the fecal-oral route. What is fecal-oral route again? Fecal-oral route is nothing but, see, you eat something, your gut gets infected, the contamination occurs in your feces, and the contaminated feces again mixes with your food which you have, and you have the food and you get the infection. That is called fecal-oral route. There is hardly one culture positive from all these days which is proven positive for COVID-19. There is only one stool culture positive for COVID-19. So there is no much of studies stating that there is a transmission by fecal-oral route. Okay, the surface I have taught. See, in air, it stays for 3 hours. In copper, 4 hours. In the cardboard, 24 hours. In plastic, it stays for 72 hours. So you need to be very careful in handling things. You have to wash your hands regularly, sanitize your surface regularly. And when you come out, it's better you keep your things 6 to 7 hours outside, then use it. That would be a better way. So next, these are the few symptoms which people are undergoing. These are the symptoms like any other common flu. Like you will have fever, you have dry cough, you have shortness of breath, yes, loss of smell, headaches, and these are sometimes, very common. All flu has these symptoms. But from my clinical experience, what I have seen is, I broadly classified the symptoms into gastrointestinal symptoms and non-gastrointestinal symptoms. Yes, again, the gastrointestinal symptoms, what will you have? The patient usually comes with a diffuse centralized abdominal pain. You will have loose stools, you will have vomiting, and severely dehydrated. They don't have respiratory symptoms at all. They only manifest the abdominal symptoms. Yes, they are COVID positive. And the non-gastrointestinal symptoms will be, you will have low grade, sometimes high grade fever, you have dry cough, you have breathing difficulty. See, I want to emphasize something on the breathing difficulty. This is the most dreadful symptom which needs to be alarmed at the time. So you have breathing difficulty, please get admitted yourself into the hospital. See, I don't define the breathing difficulty after climbing 4 stairs, you will have, that's something physiological. But you are at rest, you are feeling some chest tightness, you are feeling some uneasiness, a suffocating feeling by walking 4 steps. Yes, you have a breathing difficulty. So then you have to come to the hospital, get admitted yourself. The earlier you come, the treatment would be sooner. Then the last symptom I would like to say is the loss of smell and taste. I had a staff nurse working with me who was attending COVID positive patients. She was very normal, no fever, no cold, no cough. She suddenly one day when she was applying this talcum powder, she didn't get the fragrance at all. It was kind of a weird to her. Then she went to grab a cup of coffee. She couldn't taste whether it was a tea or a coffee. So she was like very confused. What is this going around? And she was tested positive. She didn't have any symptom. Only the symptom was the loss of smell and the loss of taste. There are clusters of people who have only this symptom. They are quarantined for 14 days. Alhamdulillah, they're doing well. So again, a cytokine storm. This I want to tell you because I work in critical care unit. I see 3% of patients, that is 97% go home and 3% patients have a mortality rate. So that 3% of patients I'm encountered daily. So what are cytokines? I just want to tell you because one of my friends told, see, regularly we hear about COVID is like fever, body pain, myalgia. We are not aware of what is going inside our body. Please try to tell something interesting. No. So I thought, okay, I'll tell this. So cytokines are nothing but circulating proteins in our body, acts as a defense mechanism. See, we have a military force in our border to defend us, to protect us. But sometimes this orderly army of cells wielding molecular weapons gets out of control, morphing from obedient soldiers to unruly monsters. That is what goes wrong here. So when you have a foreign body ingested in your ingested in you, what happens is these cytokines come as a group to protect us. But when they come abundantly, when they come as a storm, they come in a massive way and cause inflammation all around, everywhere, causing multi-organ failure. They form clots in the vessels and they hamper the circulation of the body and it becomes very dreadful. That is where you give this acute respiratory distress syndrome, multi-organ failure to. Then, see, this is the simplest diagram which I had drawn. It looks like a kindergarten diagram, I believe. See, this is the lung. You can see the lung here. So, see, you can see the lung here. These are the two lungs and these are the air pockets. You can see circles here and these are the capillaries. The red color ones are the capillaries. So the oxygen goes, the carbon dioxide comes out. So here I am just expanding one of these alveoli here. So this is the virus. So when the virus attacks, there is a cytokine release, which forms an inflammation. There is red block area causes inflammation and hampers the space between the exchange of gases. So you have no gaseous exchange at all and the lung is completely damaged. This is called acute respiratory distress syndrome and patients usually die because of this in a viral pneumonia. Then, how do we receive patients? See, usually we triage the patients. I work in a critical care, so we receive the patients either from the emergency room or from the med call room. In emergency, they are totally geared with the PPE and they are ready to receive the patients and they assess them according to their saturation and other symptoms. They either shift them to the ward or they shift them to the CCU. And again, from the ward, we receive the patients through a med call. What is a med call again? Med call is nothing but any patients become sick in any part of the hospital, they just ring us and tell the patient is sick. We as a group of doctors and technicians and staff nurses, we go to the spot, run and go to the spot. Either we stabilize or bring the patient to the CCU according to the symptoms. So, and by the time we know the patient is going to come. So what we do is we start donning ourselves. We have a buddy donning staff who helps us to wrap, all the micro gaps so that we don't get the infection, so they just plaster us wherever we have small gaps. So we have a apron with a hood, then a long apron with a hood. We have 2 gloves, we have 2 masks, we have a helmet, we have a goggle, and we have a pair of shoe covers. So it's, you know, it's very difficult. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for us to wear it, and I cannot explain you how suffocating it is to wear this and be around for hours together. Then we receive the patient and we run the sampling. So usually the samples we either take from the nasal passage or from the throat, but usually we take it from the nose because the sensitivity is high when taken from the nasal passage. So people are fully protected when they take the samples, and people who run through the samples, that is the PCR, are also fully protected. So this window phase is very, very traumatic, very annoying, because once it comes as a positive, it changes, the protocol completely changes. I am not telling about the treatment part, the approach completely changes. I'm again re-emphasizing the patient will get what he needs. There is no compromise regarding any treatment to the patient, but the approach to the patient completely is changed, because everyone should wear a PPE. Even the simple procedure becomes so difficult. The arterial line, the central line, with the intubations, all you have to do with the hood. The visibility is very less, but alhamdulillah, we all do it in a good manner, but it's difficult. It's not the same thing what we do in the ordinary patients. Next. So again, the ventilation. So according to the saturation and the symptoms, we either put the patient into a non-ventilatory mask. That is a mask connecting to the ventilation. The patient breathes with the ventilatory support. And the other category is critically dreadful ill patients. We tube them. We put the tube into the trachea and connect them to the ventilation. Okay, and one more procedure, what we do is we put the patient upside down. That is, we make the patient lie down on the tummy. So there is a gap for the diaphragm to relax, and there is a more room for the gaseous exchange to happen. So the studies say that this helps for a better recovery in ARDS patients. So there the person is tubing with the hood, I said, that is a non-invasive ventilation, and here they are proning. So, and again, I want to tell you, I'm not scaring you. These are the only patients whom I see in CCU. The 97% of population, alhamdulillah, they recover beautifully and they go home. And patients, I know clusters of family have got infected with COVID-19. They stay home, they just maintain the social distancing, they just get quarantined for 14 days, alhamdulillah, they're doing well. But we neither overestimate or underestimate the disease. We have to use all the precautions possible. So my challenges, I would like to take some time in this slide, because my challenges are very taxing and very demanding. See, if a normal patient comes to CCU, the family comes daily and sees. So they retaliate to what we say. So because the patient improves, the declines, yes, you see the signs and symptoms and you know. But here the patient is completely isolated, pushed off in a different room, and the attendants can never see the patient unless he's out. So this is kind of very traumatizing to them. So, and the patient who is there in the COVID ward is more anxious and more aggressive because of the stringent rules and the isolation protocol. And it takes lots of time for us to be more empathetic and to convince them for the treatment protocols to be followed. I would say a small experience I underwent through. So we had an 80-year-old patient. He came drowsy. He had reasons to be drowsy because his sodium was less, and he had early signs of dementia. So he was tested positive and was brought into the CCU. So when we gave him some 3% saline and he recovered, he arose. And when he arose, he was just asking one question: Am I in the hell or am I in the heaven? Point number one, the whole room was empty. He was the only one. And he saw two people draped in white dresses. So he was again asking, am I in the hell or am I in the heaven? What he has assumed is he has already died and those two people are some angels of death. And we had to convince him so much. It took so much of time for us to convince him and tell, no, you're not dead, you're still alive. Those people are not angels of death. They are the staffs taking care of you and you have been tested COVID positive. So the psychological impact is so much, like it takes our time, our, everything to convince them and reassure them. It takes so much of time. So again, when we come out, we see the ever eager, anxious family waiting outside who have not seen their beloved ones at all, and they're very anxious to know what's going on. Obviously, you have some of your relative admitted, and you don't know what's going on. Obviously, you will be very anxious. So we have to deal them. It becomes a balancing act for us, which requires a greatest level of maturity and composure to handle all at the same time. And we run through certain investigations. So we take a chest x-ray, we take a CT scan. So these chest x-ray, again, you can see those black patches in the x-ray. Those are the normal ones. And the white patches are the deceased patches. So the infection is so fast. The day one you take an x-ray, the day two you repeat, it spreads so rapidly, the infiltrates are so massive. So it's very predominantly seen in the x-ray. And this is the CT scan, which I've shown here. See, the bony part is down and the chest part is up. Okay, the black fields which you're seeing medially, it is the normal lung, and the peripheral haziness, you can see some white patches. Those are called ground glass opacities. So other labs would be the arterial blood gas, the complete blood count. So arterial blood gas, usually we see something called PF ratio. If it is less than 400, we state like the patient has some acute respiratory symptoms, acute respiratory syndromes, I'm sorry. So you have a complete blood count, you see an interleukin-6 level, a cytokine, a fibrinogen, ferritin, and cardiac markers to just exclude the patient is not having any kind of myocardial infarction, any kind of heart attack picture. Just to exclude that, we do all those. And even the COVID affects the heart, causes corona myocarditis. So it's better you run through few cardiac markers. So the treatment goals for asymptomatic patients, the patients who don't have any symptoms at all. So they are quarantined at home for 17 days after the onset of symptoms. And I think this is the latest GO from the government of Tamil Nadu. It changed, it varies every day. And should be free of fever for 10 days to end the period of isolation. No need testing after 17 days. So here is the chart which I have shown. You can just avoid this asymptomatic infection and mild infection where you have got few symptoms. But this moderate, severe and critical infection needs an hospitalization. Again, I'm insisting you that if you have breathing difficulty and your saturation, you feel it's dropping down, because these days people have this pulse oximeter at home and they monitor them regularly. So it's better if you have saturation less than 94 or 97 or whatever normal it is for you, less than that, it's better you get hospitalized. So, and again, there is no proper channelized vaccine found. The treatment remains asymptomatic. Oxygenation, when your saturation drops, you have IV steroids, and we give like hydroxychloroquine, few antibiotics, and we do give immunotherapy for very sick patients. Patients undergo dialysis when they are in severe septic shock, acute renal failure, and we use some specialized filters for them. And we obviously we give them ventilatory support. We give anticoagulants because the blood clots everywhere. So we prophylactically start them on the low molecular weight pattern, and we nebulize them. That is the common thing which we do for any flu. So here is the treatment protocol. The thing which you see in the green thing are kind of mild to moderate patients, where we run the common test, which I've already told you. The pink one is the category B, that is the moderate patients, where we run through a lots of blood tests. We do blood culture so that they don't get secondary infections, and we start them on antibiotics, and we start them on low molecular heparin and an antiviral drug, remdesivir, then consider early steroids. Then this category C is a very critically ill patients, where we start prophylactically low molecular weight heparin, the same thing, and antiviral, and consider antibiotics and early steroids. This is the protocol which we follow in our hospital. So again, the prevention. Wow, see the social distancing they are maintaining. See, government has stretched itself to do so much for us. If we are in crisis, even the government is in crisis. But as a citizen, as a Muslim, we have certain social responsibilities we should abide on. So please have a proper social distancing. See, I see people having a generalized social distancing. Means when they go out, they have social distancing. But when they have a family get together, a wedding or a party, they just hug, they cuddle and do everything. I think social distancing should be correctly defined and followed accordingly. Please adhere to what the government says. Stay 6 meters away and talk. Next, hygiene. And I think everyone would have heard like wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Yes, you have to wash your hands with any soap, any color, yellow, green, red, blue, at least for 20 seconds, and you have a proper hand washing techniques. I think everyone would have been aware of. So follow that technique and at least wash for 20 seconds whenever you feel like you have touched a contaminated surface, or when you come home, or when you're out, when you work out. Every time it's better you have some hand sanitizers, you have some soap or thing. One of my cousin called me and asked, should I wash my vegetables with Dettol? What a question. So I said, my dear sister, if you wash your vegetables with Dettol, you will not die of corona, but you will die of some Dettol poisoning. So don't do it, because it has chemicals which the vegetables tend to absorb, and that would be very dreadful for you. So it's better you wash the plastic bags which you get, maybe the milk packets, the oil packets, anything plastic, you just wash it with soap and water, or you just immerse in the soap water and take it and use. And vegetables, all I think you boil it well and eat, or cook well and eat. I think that should be fine. So responsibility. So level of responsibilities as a person, at home, community, and in the hospital. So as a person, you should wear mask outside when you go. That is mandatory these days, because one, you don't get infected, and you don't let others infect when you have an infection. At home, so when you are at home, make sure when people come out, you feel the person is infected, you have some kind of a community worker cylinder is wheeled inside, just mop the surface well. So when I go after my 13 hours of duty, what my husband does is he signals on the phone before I come, she's coming, she's coming. So everyone paves their way, like no one is there in the hall, everyone enters their respective rooms, and I straightly go to the room, and there is a bucket ready with surf and water. I just directly put my clothes, I take a shower from head to toe, then go, I meet my family. Because after this 13-hour shift, I have a guilt, like what if I infect my own family? That is going to be a very painful thing for me. So as like you also, when you go out and you feel, when you work and you feel like you are in a vulnerable place, or you are in a contaminated zone, it's better you go take a proper shower, then meet your family. As a community level, yes, please avoid traveling to other states unless and until it's an emergency. So have a social distancing. Do not spit on the road, please. There is no point wearing a mask, removing it, and spitting on the road. That's the worst thing could happen. And the hospital, it's our responsible to screen everyone. It's not to annoy you or make you wait for a long time. It's just to be safe. It is being safe for you, to your family, and the people in the hospital admitted also should be safe. That's why we do screening test. Okay. So again, it's a public duty. So government and health organizations are doing their best they can. Public should understand and please cooperate. Avoid unnecessary travels. Take care of kids and elders. Be preventive and smart to avoid contractions. Treat doctors and healthcare workers with patience because they do the same. And this lockdown is going to get released within 3 or 4 days, but the corona is not. It has, because the curve is exponentially raising, so we still have to be very careful. The government is just giving you a gestational time so that you can be prepared for it. So, and this, I have to tell you, please appreciate the frontline workers. See, wearing PPEs in the air-conditioned room itself is so drenching, so traumatizing, so painful. These PPEs wearing this hot sun, you can't even, contemplate of what they are undergoing through. And these low-level workers like sanitizers, the housekeeping staffs, they are doing enough. They are working only for us to be safe. So please appreciate them. Don't demoralize them. See, this is how we feel after our 13 hours work. You can see those tattoos in the faces and drenching sweat after we remove the PPE. So this is very difficult for us. So even after this, we go home with a guilt like we should not infect the family members. See, we being the frontline workers, this is the thing, but we have few backstage workers also. They are our families who are taking care of my children, my family when I'm at work. So I can't thank my parents and in-laws enough for the moral support and emotional support which they've given me. Especially my mother-in-law is 24/7 engaged looking after my children when I'm around the hospital. Then see, after all this is what we see. Corona means money rain for doctors, it seems. That is not money rain, that is Marana rain. Okay, please understand. So exposing India's corona villains, doctor, healthcare workers attacks. This is kind of too much, Still, many insensitive things are circulated. It is very heartbreaking to see. This hurts so much that very people whom we are committed to serve with so many sacrifices do not appreciate or care to understand that we are also similar humans as much as prone to this disaster as they are. My appeal for this is to stay safe and treat the frontline health workers with humanity, compassion, and dignity. So the mortality rate as of now is 1% in Tamil Nadu. It was 2 weeks ago, 0.63%, and now it is 1%. So it is raising, and I think it is going to raise for a couple of weeks. So please be safe. So the overall mortality rate in India is 3.2%, among which 83% have comorbidities, and mortality rate globally is 3.4%. So with all these, I come to a conclusion, like we have to learn to live in the world of corona. So this is not going to fade away soon unless and until we get herd immunity, and Allah should shed his mercy to ward off this disease soon, inshallah. So there is a saying, be positive. Be positive is the most optimistic word ever heard. But in the year 2020, the word positive scares us, isn't it? Yes, of course. So let's all pray we be negative, not in the terms of life, in the terms of COVID testing. Inshallah, in the upcoming testing, we all should pray like we all be negative. Sorry. Then one more thing, I just want to conclude with a phrase like we do hand washing, we wear a mask, we have social distancing. Yes, no questions asked. Everything should be done in a compulsory basis. But after doing all these things, you have to put trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's the only one who can cure us. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Dr. Jazakillahu khairan kaseera, Dr. Muthawa. We are all still reeling and stunned from all the amazing precautions, sacrifices, and efforts that the medical community is undertaking for the protection and treatment of the general community. We have a newfound respect and awe for these heroes, subhanallah. And there is a responsibility on us to not jeopardize their health, their well-being, their jobs. Already they're stressed out by not doing irresponsible things and becoming nauzubillah positive and then overburdening the health infrastructure. May Allah guide us to get this insight and this hikmah. And may Allah bless and protect all our medical warriors who put their lives at risk to care for others. Barakallahu feekum, all of you, dear doctors, dear Dr. Muthawa. Only now I realized your sacrifices. I'm going to start asking the questions because they're pouring in. It's a real flood out there. So I'm going to first allow the ladies who have been raising their hands to ask the questions before taking in the written questions. So if the host would kindly, okay, I think we'll start taking questions. There is a Sister Nasreen has raised her hand. Sister Nasreen, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question? You have a raised hand icon. Okay, I don't know if Sister Nasreen is going to ask. The Sister Rizwana Suhaib has also raised her hand. So we're going to ask Sister Rizwana Suhaib to ask the question, please. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum, doctor. Hello, assalamu alaikum, everyone, sisters. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, continue.
Yes. So alhamdulillah, that was a wonderful session. Doctor, thank you so much, first of all. My question is, so many people I heard that they are positive, but they don't, because of the people treating them like the COVID patients, whoever comes positive, they are looking them like a how to say, like they have done some crime or something. So this kind of people, whoever goes for COVID testing, even though if they are coming like negative, they have affected psychologically. Recently, I have heard from one of friends. She said from her neighbor who came from Chennai, gone for this COVID test, and he came as negative. But his his mental state is not fit. So how to overcome this? People are not aware of this. Can you get my question?
Yeah, sisters.
So how we are supposed to train our mind, but
Yes.
few people are not ready to go for even one more person.
I got your question.
Yeah.
So your question is, how do we get psychologically prepared
Yes.
when we are testing COVID test, and what if comes positive, and what will be the inflection if you are positive? Is that your question, right? Okay, so the first thing is, now the government has brought out the new rule, like not everyone should be tested. Even the close contacts, unless and until they have symptoms, need not be tested. You have symptoms, you go test, otherwise need not. And yes, the social infliction is because say once you are tested, you're quarantined, everyone has the same phobia, like what if you get infected? That is what comes in their mind. But now it has become so common because the curve is raising. So I think everyone should be in a mindset like, yes, if you are tested positive, either go to the hospital, get hospitalized, or stay at home, get quarantined yourself. I think that will, come over a period of time. So, and you should have some kind of psychological approach or repeated counseling so that the patient, is calm and composed for what he's worrying for.
Okay, Barakallah Fiki, Dr. Muthawa. The next question is there's a raised hand emoticon by Sister Riha MS. Can you please unmute yourself and ask your question, Sister Riha?
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Alhamdulillah, the session was really informative. My question is, right now there are a lot of, sayings that if you drink kabasura kudineer or other such kashayams, is it really helpful to, battle against corona?
Walaikum salam, sister Reena. Yes, kabasara kudini. Yes, this word rings to me every day. My mom calls me every morning and she says, please kabasara kudini, you drink. And she had sent me tons of lemons. She said, like, every day in one bottle you put 10 lemons and drink so that you will not get COVID. This, she says, every day at least 4 or 5 times. I first I just tried convincing her, no ma, this is not, because COVID has nothing to do, but still okay. Then I thought, no, she has got some kind of a strong feeling, so I said, yes, okay, I'll drink lemon, I'll drink kabasa kudineer. There is no harm, you can drink. Always some kind of viral pneumonia from ages, the turmeric, this lemon, this honey, this ginger, everything has some kind of antiviral effects. If you don't have any harm, you can drink, but there is no proven effect as such. But sometimes you be careful, sister. The strong green substance are high in potassium, might injure your kidney. So it's better you have it weekly once or weekly twice. So hearing this, my mom would have been very happy. So I think this would have answered your question.
Okay, Barakallah Fiki. Sister Abida Tabassum, you can ask the next question, please.
Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, walaikum salam, sister.
I just wanted to have a doubt. First time the person was tested negative, and after 2 days again, like after 2 weeks, again she was tested positive.
Yeah.
Then should we do it again after another 2 weeks? Should
No,
we do it?
Yeah, yes, sister. Walaikum salam, sister. Yes. See, first, the GO itself of the government says no need testing after your quarantine is over. Like 17 days, there is no need of any testing. But if you don't have symptoms after getting treated, I think there is no need of any testing done. The second time itself, I don't know why did you do, but I feel the third time you should not do, because there will be so much of dead viral load which would show a false positive report. So it's better you don't do unless and until you have signs and symptoms.
Okay, Barakallah Fiki. Can we have maybe the second last question from Vivo 1919? There's a raised hand emoticon. You can unmute yourself and ask the question, sister.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, doctor. This is Sumaya here. Recently, we could see in the news as well as in the Google that there are a lot of medicines that have been found to treat mild and moderate kind of COVID fever or what COVID symptoms. So, is that true, and has that been circulated everywhere? And that was my first question. And yeah, I did have a question about Gavasura Kudinil as well, and that has been clarified. So my question right now is about the medicine.
Yeah. Walaikum salam, Sumaya. So your question was like there are different medicines in different pharmacies for COVID, can you have those? So see, the treatment is still under the study. You don't have any channelized treatment. You don't have a vaccine. So all treatment now, what you have is a symptomatic. You have a fever, you are getting treated with antipyretics. You have an inflammation, they are treating you with steroids. This hydroxychloroquine and macrolide antibiotics are not proven it. They are giving, but they are not proven it. And drawing cultures and giving them high antibiotics are to prevent the secondary bacterial infection. So it's all under study. So there is no proven treatment. The only treatment I would insist is prevention. The mask, the social distancing, and hand hygiene. And the mortality rate being 3% and the recovery rate being 97%, we all hope we acquire a herd immunity soon and the mortality rate comes down.
Barakallah Fiki, Dr. Muthawa, that was very clear. Next question, I think this will be the last question. Sister Nazira, you have your hand raised. Can you please unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum, doctor. One of my relatives is showing COVID positive symptoms, but has preferred to quarantine herself at home without proceeding with tests to confirm. It is due to many cases of wrong diagnosis, and since there is no cure, hence no reason for testing and approaching a doctor. Your kind advice on this decision of hers?
No, can you just repeat your question, sister? Your voice is echoing.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. One of my relatives is showing COVID symptoms, but has preferred to quarantine herself at home without proceeding for tests to confirm. It is due to many cases of wrong diagnosis, and since there is no cure, hence no reason for testing and approaching a hospital. Your kind advice on this decision of hers, please.
Walaikum assalam, sister. Sister, was your relative in contact with some COVID positive patients?
No, she wasn't.
She was not. Then why do you want her to be tested? She has symptoms. She has got fever. She has got breathing difficulty.
She doesn't have any breathing difficulty. She had a bit fever, and she has a history of throat problems. She has this mucus coming every time, and she catches this cough a lot.
Okay.
And it is persistent for many days.
Okay.
So now she got fever, and then when she went to the doctor, he told that it's better to get this tested.
Yeah. Okay, but she doesn't want to get tested.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get tested.
But when there is a symptom going around you, it's better, and she has a chronic problem because she comes onto a list of the comorbid patients. So it's better she gets tested.
But the scare is there that many cases of wrong diagnosis.
No, if she's not having any kind of a respiratory distress, she can be observed at home. Or if she's having any breathing difficulty exaggerated, she can go get her hospitalized.
She says that she doesn't have any breathing difficulty, but she's lost her taste and smell.
Yeah, maybe a COVID. So it's better you force her or you emphasize her to get tested.
Oh, thank you so much.
That would be my suggestion.
Okay. Barakallah fi kunna, all of you, my dear sisters, and my special and heartfelt thanks on behalf of Aspire College of Excellence to Dr. Muthawa for giving us her precious time and her expertise and her knowledge and such amazing, valuable information. And alhamdulillah, we know she is such a busy lady, especially now that the pandemic is in its full swing. She has a little baby at home, a 1-year-old baby, a child of 10. So subhanallah, despite that, she gave time to her community. May Allah accept from you, may Allah accept from your family, my dear sister. May Allah protect you, your family. Barakallahu fikunna, all you dear sisters, for joining us. So we're going to wrap up our session for today with the Kafaratul Majlis. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.